Hello. Years ago, before fashion designers sew your dress, they first design the dress with pieces of papers and they call it pattern. They then go further by cutting into pieces your piece of cloth to match the pattern they have designed with the pieces of papers. And so finally, your designer dress becomes a reflection of the pattern that has been designed with the pieces of papers. Jesus, in teaching the disciples how to pray in Matthew chapter 6 verse 10, teaches them that there is the perfect will of God for man designed in heaven, and the life of man on earth must be a reflection of God's perfect will for man as designed in heaven. In Jeremiah 29 verse 11, God through the prophet Jeremiah said, "For I know the plans I have for you. They are plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And so, beloved, God has a perfect will or a perfect plan for your life. He has a perfect plan for your family, for your marriage, for your children, for your business, and your entire life. And your life on earth must be a reflection of God's perfect plan. Jesus telling the disciples to pray that thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven could be an indication that there are so many conditions that can either change or stop God's perfect plan or will for your life on earth. There are a lot of people walking on the surface of the earth whose life is not in divine alignment to God's perfect will for them. Beloved, look around you and in your life, and if you realize your life on earth is not a reflection of God's perfect will and plan for you, then it is an error that must be corrected. All along, it was the will of God that Sarah would birth out Isaac, but her life was not in alignment to God's perfect plan for her, and so she was called barren until she encountered the angel of the Lord who told her a year by this time, your life will be in alignment to God's divine plan for you. And when that appointed time came, she birthed out Isaac. What report have you come to believe and are even carrying about yourself? If it is not in line with God's perfect will and plan for you, drop it and go for what God has said and written about you. Who told you you are barren and you will remain barren? Who told you you are sick and you will remain sick? Who said to you that you have failed and you will remain a failure? Don't you know that what you hear and believe about yourself, whether positively or negatively, is what you become? This is why you must know what God has written and said about you. So by consistent, earnest prayer, begin to call your life to come in divine alignment with what God has written and said about you. Beloved, it is time to arise out of your slumber to begin to pray and call your life into divine alignment to what God has ordained for you. But beloved, how can you know God's perfect will for you if you do not know God? Jacob encountered God, and that was the destiny-changing moment in his life. Sarah encountered the angel of the Lord, and that was the destiny-changing moment in her life. It is your discovery and accepting Christ as your Lord and personal Savior that your life on earth becomes a reflection of what God has ordained for you in heaven. I pray for you that your eyes will be opened to know what the hope of God's calling for you is, and you will receive the grace to walk in it. I pray for you that your life on earth will be a true reflection of what God has ordained for you in heaven. My name is Reverend Ebenezer Tetraco, and for more of these interactions, follow us on these social media platforms, and on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell button. Until I come your way again, get connected to Jesus and your life will never be the same. Shalom, peace and life to you.